Hello, Ariel with Ariel Paints, and today we are going to talk about beginner supplies when starting a face painting business. This is a very much requested video of my subscribers, and I am finally going to do it. I am so sorry it's taken me a while, but I had to collect all my thoughts and really try to put something together that is all-inclusive. So it did take me a little bit, so sorry if you're one of the people that asked, but here we go. So I'm going to start off by talking about supplies, and then we're going to move into the most popular face painting designs, and then we're going to talk a little bit about technique and face paint and just the art of face painting. So this could be a little bit of a lengthy video, but I just want to do it all in one so that it's comprehensive and all in one place. So if it's a bit long, then just stop in the middle and watch the rest later, okay? So stay tuned and we'll get started. Okay, so face painting supplies. The first thing we're going to talk about are brushes. When it comes to just starting out, don't overdo it. Just get a few good brushes. And if you want to go to Michael's or to a craft store and do that, go ahead. You don't have to get professional supplies right away. Start small. If you go too big too soon and then you decide you don't want to be a face painter, if it's not for you or you're too busy or whatever it is, you'll have invested so much money and it's not going to be worth it. So take it slow. Get a little bit at a time. Don't feel like you have to have everything at once. But if you want to invest in some good brushes or brushes to get you started, what I would recommend is a 3/4. I do personally like the Face Painting Shop's 3/4 short angled brush. It is my go-to. I love it. But you do not have to do the Face Painting Shops. You can get another brush. Just make sure you have a 3/4 flat. A 1 inch is a bit too big to start. And then you're going to want something a little bit smaller, like a 2 or a 3 to do really detailed line work. And then you're going to want a little bit of a larger round. I would go at least a 6 so that you can do some larger designs. I really like a 1/2 inch angled flat brush as well. This one is the Angled Brush Medium from the Face Painting Shop. I think that's a 1/2 inch. Might be a 1/4. I'm not sure what they call that, but the name is the Angled Brush Medium. And this is the Face Painting Shop again. This is a really good brush to have to do a lot of different things with, like outlining butterflies, painting on unicorns, or cheek art. It's a good one. The other brush that I love, which if you watch my tutorials already, you'll know I love a filbert. I love a filbert so much because you can round out that head of unicorns. If you're drawing a unicorn on somebody, you can make nice thin lines and then quickly switch to a big thick line, which you can do with the smaller angled flats as well. For some reason, could be a personal thing, I have more control over a filbert. I really like the rounded edge it gives me, so I'm a huge fan of the filbert brush. So to start out, at the very least, I would go with those 5 brushes. Now, as far as brands go, I mentioned the Face Painting Shop. I love the Face Painting Shop. Rounds, Low Cornell, by far amazing. Besides that, I've used chameleon brushes, paint pal brushes. They're all good. All the professional brushes that you'll find on websites for face painting shops are going to be decent brushes. Now, if you don't want to go invest in these, you can certainly go to your craft store, your local art supply store. Oh, there's a little bug. Did you see that? And find... Hopefully he doesn't come back. And find brushes. What you want to do when looking for face painting brushes, you want to make sure they have some malleability so they're not too stiff, but you don't want really fluffy, soft brushes, so you want something just in between. It might take you a little while to figure out what exactly the right face painting brush is from a craft store because it's just a different medium face paint than acrylic or watercolor or oil painting. So don't get discouraged. Just try out a few and figure out what works best. But that's what I would recommend to get started with brushes. Next, the other most important thing is your paint. You can find a brand called Snazaroo at Michael's, which I had a few Snazaroo colors when I first started out. It is considered a lower end face painting brand. And if you use some Snazaroo and then a professional brand, you will see why. I feel like it's a little bit waxier, harder to work up into a nice consistency, as well as it's not as pigmented. If you have no idea face painting is what you want to do and you just want to play around, go get a Snazaroo set, try it out, play around, paint your kids, do some cheek art, and see if it's for you. I wouldn't recommend getting a kit to go do a festival or something like that. Instead, I would recommend going and finding a all-in-one palette, which I'm sorry I do not have, but they come in kind of strips. You can find them on Amazon or at any of the face painting shops online. Diamond Effects makes one, Global makes one, I believe Tag makes one, and I will work on finding some links to put down below so you can see them. What they are is a row of usually primary colors, maybe a secondary color like pink or something like that, and then black and white. The nice thing about those is you can get an all-in-one set with black and white, and you're getting a good grade, a good quality face paint, and you can try out more professional face paint, because if you start with Snazaroo and you're trying to replicate designs you're seeing on Instagram and Pinterest and YouTube, and you're wondering why it's not as pigmented and you think it's because you're a bad painter, it could not be. It could be the supplies. So that being said, you can get one of those palettes or you can get individual colors. I don't have a palette to show you because I never went that route. I just knew it was something I was going to do and felt a little bit more confident that it was going to be a thing for me. So I started buying individual paint. Now I've used a lot of different paint over the years. Can't say that I've used everything because every now and then I still hear of a new something and I'm like, oh, didn't know that existed. So I'm going to go through a few of the brands that I've used. Superstar is one. I have since repotted all of my paint, but of course I've kept a lot of the different brands. So Superstar is a good quality paint that I like. Fab I have used. That's really good, as well as the Silly Farm split cakes are really nice. So if you're going to get individual paint, just get some primary colors and a few secondary colors to start out. Let's see, this is Party Explosion, which is good. Diamond Effects. Diamond Effects is my favorite paint. It works for me. I really like it. I've also used Wolf. I really like Wolf as well. None of the professional brands have I ever had an issue with. I really like them all, but they're all a little different. So you might have to go through a few brands to find out what your brand is. Black and white face paint is a constant debate on different forums. I'm a Diamond Effects girl. I love Diamond Effects. I used Wolf for a little while as well, but I went right back to my Diamond Effects. This is what works for me. Now, even if you get one of those palettes or you get a few colors, I would get a big black and white. It's what you're going to use for line work and things the most. And if you get one of those smaller palettes with the intention of going to do a small festival or, maybe the school charity event or whatever it is, you might want to consider investing in another black and white because this is what you're going to go through the most. I will also tell you face paint goes a long way. It takes a long time to run out an entire jar of face paint. This one I had split and cut and put it in something else. So they really do last a really long time. So if you're only doing a few faces, don't feel like you need a ton of face paint. You don't. Okay, so that's solid colors. Let's move on to split cakes. If you are just starting out and you want to try split cakes and some rainbow cakes, I would recommend getting a true rainbow. Could never go wrong with a true rainbow, and you can do a lot of different things with it besides just a rainbow. You can do a rainbow one-stroke butterfly. You can do a princess crown. Very versatile. Boys like rainbows, girls like rainbows. This is a must if you want to invest in a one-stroke. Another one-stroke I would recommend doing if you just do a few, which I would say do 2 or 3 to start, is a pink to red or pink to purple. This can be used for hearts, cheek art, heart crowns, roses, princess crowns, butterflies, and probably 100 other things that I can't think of right now. Very, very good, versatile, I can speak today, split cake. Now, I don't recommend going and getting some crazy split that you're not quite sure what you're going to do with it. Get a split cake that you can think of out of the top of your head, 3 to 4 designs you can do with that one split cake, especially starting out. The other one that I would recommend doing is a green, a light to dark green split. This can be used for snakes, for leaves, for monster masks, for the Grinch, for Christmas. Very, very versatile, and you can come up with a lot of different designs with this one split cake. So if somebody was going to say, Ariel, you're going to a festival, you can pick 3 splits to bring with you. These are the 3 that I would pick: rainbow, a pink, and a green. Now, if rainbow cakes are something that you want to try, then I would recommend doing one that can be used for boys and for girls. This is a good one because girls like the turquoise and the darker purple, but boys see this and they see green and blue. So I can do a butterfly with this on a girl and then outline it in a purple and do pink flowers so that it's really, really girly. I can use this as a Batman background and then do Batman for a boy. I can use this for cats or colorful leopards or a dog. A monster mask. This is incredibly versatile. So I like a split like this that's not really for a boy or for a girl. It's very, very easy to switch up. And then the other one I would recommend is something that looks like a rainbow. This is a Leanne's rainbow. It's tropical butterfly. It's also a really, really good one because it's not too girly, but it's not too boyish either. So you can use this on anyone. And I like a true rainbow too. You could do a true rainbow in, let me grab one. This is a Diamond Effects True Rainbow. So you could do a true rainbow as well, but if a little kid says, oh, I want a rainbow butterfly, and I grab this one, it's not just a rainbow. And they're never going to look at it afterwards and be like, that's not a real rainbow. They just see the gradient of colors and it's bright and it's pretty and they love it. So I like this because it's more versatile than just the regular rainbow, especially if you're just going to start out investing in a few split cakes. The next thing you're going to want are sponges. These came as a round and I cut them in half. I will try to find a link to these as well for you. These are really great to start out with. You can, of course, cut them smaller. They're very malleable. They're easy to manipulate and squeeze down. So I do like these for starting out. They were relatively inexpensive as well. And since they're nice and soft, they're easier to load a rainbow cake with than some other sponges that are a little bit harder to manipulate, that are better later on when you have more confidence and more practice. But to start, I think these are great and you're going to want them at an event. The next thing to think about are stencils. Again, don't go crazy with stencils. You can get the entire BAM set for, I don't know, $100 some odd, but don't do that if you're not sure if you're going to be a face painter. To start, what I would get is mermaid scales, stars. Sorry, mine are dirty. I just did an event. These dots are great to add some detail for superheroes. I love, love, love me some snowflakes for Frozen, which that's died down like the tiniest bit, but it's always super popular. So having those is great. And I love a Reptile stencil. Wonderful for your Ninja Turtle masks or for any monster mask. This instantly adds such a cool effect and it makes you look like a professional, even if you're just starting out and you have no idea what you're doing. Glitter is something you also might want to add to your kit. You can get it in a little jar or you can buy it in a poofer bottle and just poof it right onto your design. Keep in mind that some countries and regions are now requiring you to have biodegradable glitter, so do a little bit of research and see if that's what people are using in your area, or if it's a festival you're going to do, maybe ask them or see if there's any regulation. So just something to keep in mind. That switch is happening pretty quickly, and it's just a great thing to have for the environment. So if you can go biodegradable, do it. I would recommend doing a silver or just a white iridescent to start out, and that way it'll go with absolutely any design you're going to do. A few other things that you might not think of that you don't want to forget are a towel, so that you have something to wipe your brushes on and your hands, or if somebody spills something. I do like using a black towel because it doesn't show as much of the paint and stains. It looks a little bit cleaner. A spray bottle to spray your paint to activate your paint, or to spray your one strokes or your sponges and rainbow cakes. And a mirror. Don't forget a mirror. Mine is so dirty, I'm so sorry. So my very first birthday party that I ever did, I forgot a mirror. Epic fail. Don't forget a mirror. Keep a small one. Unbreakable is great. You can buy those because kids are going to hold it and they're going to drop it and toss it someplace, and you don't want, of course, glass breaking around kids, so you can get one that does not break. Another thing that you want to think about bringing is some face wipes. I like having baby wipes with me as well, but in case I have to remove a design from a child's face, I prefer to use something that is made for the face. So I like to always have just a travel size of face wipes with me, just in case, as well as some Q-tips, especially starting out. If you make a mistake or you make a weird starburst and you think it looks funny, you can wet a Q-tip and you can scrub it out before anybody notices, and it's just really, really helpful to have. It's also a good way to put on lipstick as well for kids, because you don't want to cross-contaminate with your paint brushes and little kids' mouths and the other things that you're doing. So definitely keep that in mind. And that being said, you're also going to want some kind of water container. Now, starting out, I just used a plastic cup from my kitchen, which my husband loved. So just make sure you have some water. You don't need a ton of water, but you're going to need water to get your brushes wet and to rinse stuff out. So just start simply with a cup. Another thing you might want to consider having is your business cards. Bring a stack of business cards with you, as well as decide before you start going to events and doing face painting, are you going to have a Facebook page? Are you going to have a website? How are people getting a hold of you? Make sure that you have something in place. Is it going to be your Instagram account that you're going to use to switch over into your face painting business, or are you going to create a new one? It's those secondary things that we don't really think about when we start a new business, but try to think what you're going to do and have some kind of plan. The next thing to think about is just your setup in general. When you get there, are they going to have a table for you? Are they going to have a chair? What are you going to do for signage? So this can be really, really hard in the beginning. I don't recommend going and buying a huge expensive kit and a director's chair and some expensive sign. Start simply. Start with a word board on a chalkboard, so just words saying cat, dog, yada, yada on a chalkboard. Start with a canvas and, paint a couple icons on the canvas so kids can see the kind of designs you're offering. Think of something that's small, portable, and easy and not too expensive to start out with. And then do ask the organizers of the birthday party event, the church fair, whatever it is you're going to be painting at, if they're going to have a table for you, if they're going to have a chair set up. You don't want to show up and not have anywhere to be, so make sure those little details are covered. You also have to consider, how are you going to bring all these supplies with you? When I started out, I used a makeup case. So I will show it to you. It was a large makeup case, which now houses, you can probably hear it, houses all my gems for when I do gem clusters. And this worked. When I got to an event, I had to pull it all out and set it out on the table so I could see everything. but it was lightweight. I didn't have a ton of supplies starting out anyways, so it worked for me. You can also just grab a bag. This is a bag, I like colorful stuff. This is a bag that I used to use a lot in the beginning as well, because I also needed to carry some of my other stuff that didn't fit in my smaller kit. So use a bag. You can get one of these hard makeup cases, which you can repurpose later if you decide to, you know, move on to a nicer, bigger kit. But to start out, think about those little things. One trick that I would use is I would kind of set and envision, you know, what do I need? If I'm setting everything up at this event, you know, what do I need? What could I be missing? And sometimes, like, in your head, you're going to think, oh, wipes. You know, I'm sitting there, I'm painting, I don't have wipes. I need wipes. Or a bottle of water for myself, or a snack because it's a really long event. So that can help. The other thing to think about is it just takes time. Nobody's perfect, and in the beginning you're going to make mistakes, you're going to forget things, but that's part of learning. So don't be too hard on yourself. Take it easy, just be positive and do your best, and it'll all work out in the end. I hope these tips helped as far as supplies go. And now we are going to move in to talk about different designs that I think are the most important ones to learn in the beginning. Okay, so when it comes to starting to learn to face paint, I recommend practicing on kids and yourself on boards or different practice heads. I have a video on this channel about what I practice on, so you can go find that to learn more. But I want to talk about what I feel like are the most important designs. And I'm going to grab my list or else I'm going to forget. Okay, so I thought long and hard about this. I looked at my own face painting sign, the trends of this last year, and what kids have asked me for, and this is what I've come up with. It's about 12 designs that I think are the most popular designs, and if you can master these designs, you can do anything else. So the first one is very simple. It's a rainbow. Rainbow is a lifesaver. Get a one stroke, learn to do a rainbow. Amazing. The next is a cat/tiger. Now, once you get the basic cat shape down, you can easily add these stripes and you have a tiger. Cat, very popular. The next one is a dog or a puppy. That is a very popular design for me still, especially amongst little boys, like around age 3. They love to be puppies, so that's a good one to know and to practice. The next one would be a princess crown. This is such a lifesaver. Learn how to do a princess crown. I have a few different princess crowns on my channel, but I should probably do an updated one. So if you can do a simple princess crown with a one stroke or even a solid color, and you've got your stencils, you can make the colors change to be Belle, to be Jasmine, a frozen crown. Add those snowflakes and some glitter. You can change it up and make them whatever kind of princess they want to be. Princess crown, hands down, super popular. The next one that I would say you should learn is a really hard one. And if anybody says it's easy, then I don't know what they did to make it easy. For me, it was super hard, and I practice. It's the butterfly. Learn to do a one-stroke one, learn to do it with a sponge. It can be a little difficult. Now, if you find you're having trouble figuring it out, then I recommend getting these petal sponges. They are small and they are brilliant. You can load up a one stroke or a rainbow cake with a petal sponge, and then these just get right into the corner of the eye. You can sweep it over the corner of the eye and dab the shape down, dab it here, and you have the base of a butterfly. So easy. I do have at least one video on this channel of me using the petal sponges for butterflies, so you can find that and watch. Now, the reason I think this is so much easier than this is because just look, this is the right shape. This gives you this huge shape. You have to manipulate it just right. And over time, you realize to kind of pinch and curve it and get that nice butterfly shape. But in the beginning, when you're scared that you're going to get paint in kids' eyes, it's really hard. So don't beat yourself up. practice. And if you need a little assistance, get one of these sponges. They're amazing. Okay, the next one is also not so easy. It's the unicorn. But the reason this is on my list is because unicorn birthday parties are my jam. I have been to so many of those, and you're gonna get requested to do them. So learn to do a unicorn, whether it's a painted unicorn on the forehead or it's the horn with ears. Figure out a way to do a unicorn. There's a lot of tutorials on YouTube. I have many on my channel as well, and it's really, really worth learning how to do. The next couple are for the boys. Batman. Learn how to do a quick Batman. I can do a Batman in like 30 seconds now because I've done so many of them. You don't have to start out doing it in 30 seconds, but practice it. It's actually really, really easy, and boys love it. The next one for boys is Spider-Man. Spider-Man, incredibly popular, easy to do. I just did a tutorial with StarBlends on this channel for a Spider-Man, but you can certainly use water-activated paint as well. It's a great one to have in your arsenal for those little boys who like superheroes. Another good boy one is a monster. And girls ask me for monsters too, but boys usually. You can really do kind of a mask with some horns and some scales. Easy monster. Don't think I have a monster on my channel, so I will make sure to do a video soon of what my monster is for festivals. It's super easy and really effective. Okay, so now back into girl designs. One of the most important things to learn, in my opinion, is flowers. Whether it's double dipped flowers or one stroke flowers, you can do a ton with flowers. You can do arm designs with roses. You can do double dipped crowns, double dipped eye designs. You can do one stroke cheek art with a one stroke flower. So practice all sorts of different flowers, and you will have hundreds of designs that you can do if you can get down some basic techniques for flowers. Another popular design, and it might just be for me because my name is Ariel, but it's the mermaid. Whether you are painting a mermaid on someone's face or you're doing a mermaid crown or mermaid scales with a stencil, there are many, many variations, but little girls do like mermaids. They're about as popular as unicorns. So I think having a mermaid is a really important thing to have on your list. I have many, I've got a hair on my face, many mermaid tutorials on this channel, of course, because my name is Ariel again. So I have at least 3, if not more, on my channel. And then of course you can look up other designs that are simple as well, but a mermaid is a good one. Okay, the last one I'm going to talk about is the zombie. Everybody loves a zombie, and one of the reasons I think the zombie is important is because it not only spans genders, it spans the age groups. So you will have little kids ask you for zombies, you will have adults ask you for zombies, you will have teenagers asking you to paint them as a zombie. There are zombie parties, there's zombie walks that happen in different towns all over the country and all over the world. I think there's like a zombie day or something, I don't know. But having a simple zombie, it's relatively easy. You just want to make the face lighter, do some sunken eyes, usually some blood. You can do teeth. I definitely have a zombie design, a really, really simple one that I do at festivals on this channel that you can check out. But a zombie never goes out of style. People ask me for them at every single festival. So that one is a really, really good one to have down when somebody asks you. So that is my list of top designs that I would learn when you are starting out. Now, it's going to take time, so again, don't put too much pressure on yourself. It can be hard to learn some of these designs. It's also hard to do the full face designs with sponges at first, but once you practice and get it down, you'll realize that doing the full faces can be a lot easier than just doing cheek art. Now, most people are going to start out doing cheek art. That is fine. You can do that. It's what I did. I did cheek art for years before I was confident enough to figure out how to sponge over a kid's eye and not blind them because it terrified me. So just continue to practice. If you want to start out doing cheek art, go for it. But at home, start practicing some of these other designs so that you can just become more and more confident with them. So the last thing I want to talk to you guys about is just the art of face painting. It's a very different medium than any other kind of art you might be used to. If you're a fine artist and you understand color theory and composition, great. That will help you in the long run. But in the beginning, you have to learn how to manipulate face paint, how to activate face paint, how to load your brush with face paint. And it's not like acrylic paint. It's not like watercolors. It's not really like anything you've probably done before, so you have to get used to doing that. Face paint is hard and almost, I can only describe it as being kind of chalky and waxy at the same time. So when you get a container of face paint, you're going to kind of look at it and realize quickly, if you don't know already, that you need water to activate it. Once you spray that cake or you dip your brush in water and you start to really kind of whip it around into that cake, you're then going to activate it and you're going to really move it around into a consistency that you can paint with. And this takes time. So if you are dipping your brush and just putting it in there and dabbing, you are not going to load your brush correctly. You need to get your brush wet and you really need to work it into the paint to get a nice creamy lather. The only way I can describe it is if you had fresh acrylic paint that you just squeezed out of the tube, and I'm talking like the basic paint that tends to be a little more watery than say something like golden paint, like the high quality paint. That's almost the consistency that you want. It's not dripping off the brush, but if you scooped it up, it would almost hang off the brush. So that's the consistency that you want with face paint. This takes practice and time. So the best thing you can do is sit in front of the TV on a Saturday night and practice your teardrops, your swirls, your dots, just those basic techniques to get you used to loading up your brush correctly and have the confidence in the different strokes that you're going to see in most face painting designs. So my very last tip, and I've given this tip before, is to practice. Just practice, practice, practice. It takes confidence and patience and skill. So don't beat yourself up, don't take yourself too seriously, and don't give up. Continue to practice and you will see over time that you're getting better, and when your confidence builds, you're going to be able to create your own designs. Face painting is a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. I hope you guys do too. It's definitely one of my chosen mediums when it comes to art at the moment. So just have fun with it. I really hope this video was helpful and that it answered some of your questions. To those viewers who asked me to do this video, please let me know if you have more questions, if I addressed those questions, and what else you would like to know. If you want me to show you some basic techniques, I do have a video on here about techniques to load sponges and one strokes and rainbow cakes, so that may be helpful. If you'd like to see a video on teardrops or swirls or brush techniques, I'm happy to do that as well. So as always, thank you so much for watching. Let me know how I can help, and please like and subscribe. Thanks so much.